Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Geeta Sidhu-Robb. How are you?
I'm really good, Bernadette. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Can you tell us where about are you tuning in from?
I am in London, England.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. I've never
Yeah.
been there.
Have you not? You should come. Bring an umbrella or come in the summer.
Okay, I'll plan on that.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a reason we talk about the weather all the time. It's because it's never the same. Like every single
Oh,
day, it's just the heating
yeah.
is on. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, there's too, you
Yeah.
never, there's never a thing.
Yeah. So Geeta, what is it that you do and how do you do it?
So I do two things. I'm a coach on one side. I'm a women's business strategist coach. So women come in and I help them to grow their businesses. Um, I'm trying to think what's an example. Like there are, say, a company woman came in, one of my oldest clients, longest lasting clients. She came in and she was turning over 15 million. And it took her 10 years to get to 15 million. And it took us 7.5 years to get her to 52 million. So it's about getting a lot of growth very quickly by getting women to feel more aligned with their self-esteem and their self-confidence. So that's my day job, which I love. It's the best job in the world. I do coach some men, but I get them because they reach out. Like I pitch to women. I like working with women.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, I take the money I make from coaching and I put it into impact work in trying to change women's lives around the world. And so we have organizations where I've set up W Corp, so where we go into organizations like workplaces and we make them women friendly. So we help women to bring their biology to work. So if you go to work and you're having a period or perimenopause or children, you can still stay at work because it's easy for you to be a woman and still do it. And we have the same that we do for certifying in women-run businesses. We kind of create standards to help men work out how to invest in women-run businesses and not see them as men with long hair.
Oh wow, thank you so much for sharing. I love that you help women stay at work because it can be challenging, especially an example would be postpartum.
Yeah. Have you had any, do you have any children?
I have two.
Yeah. So there's that place where, I mean, like, if I look at the American military, I think you're meant to be back at work in 2.5 weeks after having a baby and be
Yeah.
full fighting ready. And you're kind of like, unless you call it a disability, and it's like, A, it's not a disability, but B, in a way, you are hampered, not disabled, but hampered. And the only way you get time off is if you call it being sick. And if it's a natural bodily function, is that how we should be calling it?
Mm.
There's a place where recovering from childbirth can take up to 9 months, and you should decide in that 9 months where you want to show up, how you want to show up after you've adjusted. It's a really painful time for you, for your family, for your marriage, your partnership. It's hard.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Especially if a woman had C-section.
Yes, which is terrible, right? I mean, they make it sound like it's a good choice. And then you realize when you can actually push it out, you recover so much faster than major bloody surgery on your body,
Yeah, yeah,
which your
definitely.
stomach muscles never recover from.
No,
That's so.
yeah, yeah, it never does. Yeah, yeah. So what made you go into the line of work that you're doing right now? Did something happen or you always wanted to do it?
I mean, I think, when you're a woman, things are always happening that make you kind of, and we kind of look at it as it's standard. But my first child was, I mean, I'm an immigrant. Firstly, I came out here from sub-Saharan Africa. So it was a completely different approach to life, although it's a colony. So it was adjusting, but also, so when you're brown in a white environment, and I'm sure also when you're black, you never quite fit in. You're always having to adjust who you are to be in a scenario so you feel more comfortable. No one asks what you want. You're always trying to make sure you adjust to what's around you, right? So that's the first thing. Then I had a child. My first son was very, very ill. And he died. He was, resuscitated. He was in intensive care. And I was very young. I was in my 20s. And that was very life-changing because I couldn't stay at work. And I remember sleeping in the hospital at night. And so the hospital care was terrible because mothers were of no relevance. And they would say things like, well, we're just going to give him this injection. I'm like, I don't want him to have it. And they'd be like, well, when you go home, we'll do it. And I'm like, well, then I won't go home. So then I would sleep on the floor with a incontinence mat, which is really not fun, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home and fall asleep as I walk in the door on the floor and miss work. And I'm kind of like, I'm in hospital, and they were like, oh, well, and this is not unusual. I'm not the only woman. There are a billion women that this has happened to. So I lost my job as a lawyer. And then fast forward a few years, and I had more kids, and I was working for myself, and I walked out of my marriage, and I ended up like 78% of women in the world with a lot less money. And I think it's some ridiculously horrendous statistic, like nearly 20% of the women end up homeless with 3 small kids. And I had nowhere to live and no money to live off. And so I had to stay in a friend's house, and she helped me, and I started to learn the skills that I have and learn how to make money out of them. So I think that I would look at those things as being the things that got me to a place where when I look at where I am now, and I'm successful, I'm very powerful in myself, and I know who I am and what I want to do. How do I help other women not have to go through what I went through?
Yeah, 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 I agree. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, you're right. I love what you shared, um, based on how someone looks, you got to work harder. And I've experienced that. I continue to. And it's just how it is. Right? It's just how it is. Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it doesn't impact who we are and how we live and what we do.
Yeah.
And I think it makes us very much better at salespeople, at adjustment, at negotiation, because the skill we have is we learn to read people. Because from walking into a room if it's safe to be in that room or not safe. And you learn that as a woman. Mm-hmm. But to learn that, I was teaching a class of CEOs yesterday, and I did a whole class on fear. And I was trying to explain to them the role fear plays in stopping you growing your business and your wealth and your company. Mm-hmm. And I was like, as a woman, you're never safe. But as a woman of color, you're even less safe. And it affects us, everything we do. So we become, so if I'm ever going to hire people-facing people, you best believe, number one, they're women, and 2, they're women of color, because you can track what's happening in a completely different way.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah. Let's talk about womanhood and leadership. How do you combine both of them to help your clients?
I think women are natural leaders, because a lot of if you look at, there's the Center for something leadership. And I remember looking it up, the qualities that are for leadership. There were these 8 qualities, and they made me laugh so much because 6 of those qualities were natural to women. Yeah. Like empathy, compassion, team building, the intuitive, this, that, or the other. And it always makes me laugh, because literally what we do with all our companies is we hire male CEOs, and then we spend millions teaching them to think like a woman. That's really what we do. Whereas women already know how to lead. We know how to be productive. We're time poor. We know how to manage. We know how to put teams and get them up, dressed, fed, into a car, and at school on time, day in and day out. Tell me that's not leadership. I just think we're insanely good at leadership, frankly.
Yeah.
We don't believe in ourselves well enough.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit more about loss and failure.
Okay, I have a funny story. When I left my ex-husband, he did not want me to leave. So what he did was he made sure that every time I turned around, I was badmouthed on some level or another. And I was quite well known because I was the first non-white woman to stand for parliament in this country. So I had done a lot of media around that. Mm-hmm. And I went to get an award somewhere, and he rang up the people that gave me the award, who were very well known, and said, she's a con woman, she's an absolute failure, she's never achieved anything in her life, she lied about all this. I didn't even, how other people put you forward for an award, like I didn't even know. So I woke up and I had the whole paparazzi outside my door, and there was me, and I was 31, and I had 3 small kids, and we were all terrified, and we couldn't even leave our house, and we didn't know what to do. And I remember ringing a friend of mine who worked for a big newspaper. And I said, oh my God, crying my eyes out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. He goes, let me tell you one thing. And I was like, oh, and he told him I'm a failure, and I feel like such a failure. And he was like, let me tell you one thing. Own your own failure. Then no one can use it against you. Number 1. Number 2, just sit tight. I'll get rid of them. So he got rid of them. And it really taught me a lesson, Bernadette. I
Hmm.
was like, oh, y'all going to be talking about me being a failure? Stand in line. So
Yeah.
I went off and I made speeches everywhere. I stand up all the time and go, listen, you think you failed? Ha! I'll see you and raise you. I have failed at everything that you've tried. And then I failed some more because I tried some more things. And I'm just like, so I failed and then
Yeah.
failure, it is, the shame and the guilt that we are given from childhood
Hmm.
isn't even our shame and guilt. But we look after it as though it was our babies, and we don't ever let it go, and we hang on to it for dear life. And honestly, you shouldn't even have to think like that, because failing is evidence that you are trying. Like when they have this thing, when we were growing up, we were laughing at this man who had a very funny accent. I remember my father being so cross. He never used to get cross because he was 6'4" and he was very tall, so he was very careful. And he said, that man has an accent because he speaks one more language than you do.
Oof.
I was like, oh. And he goes, until you be learning his language, you best shut up. I was like, all right, I'll just sit quietly in a corner. And that's how I see failure. If you don't even try, if you've never failed, you have never tried, babe. Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finished. So therefore, if I'm failing, I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And
definitely.
also, people are so interesting when they fail.
Mm. Yeah. 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 I see failures as lessons. I never see it as something that I lose. I tried and I can try again.
But also, don't you think it's the core of every sense of humor you've ever developed?
Oh yeah.
Like when you can get to the fact of the failure being hysterically funny, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about mindset, health and success. What does that mean to you?
I mean, I think the first two lead to the third. Mindset is everything. It's absolutely everything. To get out of being poor with three small kids, and we lived on £14 a day. And you can't buy a pair of shoes on £14 a day. You really cannot. And I came from a very rich family as well. So it's not like I had proof of how to survive poverty. I was learning on the way because,
Yeah.
that's the good thing about poverty.
Yeah.
And the thing that took me out of there was fully my mindset. So what I coach to now is purely mindset, because the belief that you have in yourself for where you want to go is exactly where you will end up.
Yeah.
I had this great exercise, if I could tell you about it.
Hmm.
I used to always have a book. I still have one. This looks like coffee got dropped on it, but don't mind that. And it's always blank. And
Hmm.
what I do is I draw a line down the middle. And then on the left-hand side, I write the things that I have to do tomorrow. And on the right-hand side of the page, I write the things that the universe has to do for me tomorrow,
Mm.
because I don't know how to do them. And so I co-opt the universe and we become BFFs. And I'm like, you're not escaping because you're going to help me because I don't know how to do this. So but I am definitely doing it. I never give up. So that's mindset. I think health, you cannot ever think of the last time you were sick, Bernadette. Were you able to do a lot?
Not really. Yeah.
So your health is the core foundation of everything that you do. It's like having the foundation of a house. The taller the building, the deeper the foundation has to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so health is everything. I ran a health and wellness business for 15 years. I'm a big believer in health. My health is what I spend the most money on. And I have friends who will spend the same money on a handbag. And I'm like, well, that's good. You should. I won't. I'll spend it on my health.
Yeah.
And success, I think that if you're very healthy and you're very determined and you allow yourself the fluidity and the flexibility to move, not, I must only do this because this is the only definition of success. We're really, as people and as humans, and I've coached a lot of people to be very successful. The learning is that you should never define success as one thing. Success needs to be a state of being. And
Yeah.
then it's much easier to get to. Whereas if you say success is when I hit $10 million, so what? If you hit 9 million, you're a failure? That's
Mm.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely different aspects of looking at everything we're sharing. And I think how we were raised kind of mirrors everything and how we pursue things in life. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so. I think so. I think that immigrant children always are different because you're raised by immigrant parents, right?
Yeah.
And they've had to fight and they've had to make their way, and you pick that up from them.
Mhm.
Um, It's the next generation I worry about, because now we didn't want them to fight because we had to work so hard. So I don't know quite what's going to happen there. I'll phone me in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I was brought up by very driven, very focused people that were determined to be successful, and they made their own success. So
Yeah.
I think that, but also Indian, right? So critical, negative, like I would come home with 98% in an exam. To be, what happened to the other 2%? I'm like, it flew off, okay? It just flew off,
Yeah.
right? And how we looked was so important. Like you had to be not too fat, not too thin, not too this. And that's just rubbish, but it sticks in your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So do you also help women when it comes to their relationship and mindset of how to overcome challenges that they've been through?
I actually think that the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. And that if you have a strong relationship with yourself, you love yourself, respect yourself, admire yourself, which are not things that are taught in my culture. I'm not sure about yours, but in my culture, nobody ever said this was relevant. They would just like shut up and smile and do what you're told, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to learn all those things. And when your relationship with yourself is strong and solid,
Mhm.
then everything else comes with that, you know. And I think that's the thing that is really important.
Yeah, 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 definitely. How about setbacks and transitions? How do you do those, and how do you help other people do them?
I think of them in two ways. I think of them as a pivot,
Mhm.
not a setback or a transition, number one. And number two, I think of them in a resonance vibration, that you were at this vibration and you're now moving to another vibration. And it's really funny because in the beginning, I would just be like, oh, I'm a happy Cancerian, right? So I'm like, change is inevitable, suffering is optional. I used to have it on my website. It was a health and wellness website. I put it up there just to make myself, because I hated change. I'm like, can I just sit in the corner? Just like over there. Just don't bother me.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to be the person that went, oh, this is all shifted. Good, something better is coming. And it was a hard thing. But what I teach people is that when you see something differently, expect a transition because your vibration shifts to a better place.
Mm,
Whatever you're willing to give up gets you to a better place.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, I agree.
can I say that we misunderstand change and transition? I think the biggest thing with this is that we will transition and change as much as we are willing to receive.
Yeah,
So we are the bottleneck. We are the problem. We are everything. So when you see somebody where nothing is going right, you're like, where are you stuck? Where are you refusing? Where are you? My daddy didn't speak very good English. So he used to say, you just gave refuse. Did you give refuse? You give refuse. Then nothing's going to come.
yeah,
And I'm like, all right, thanks. So there's a place where you have to work on being as open and as accepting and as willing to change. And then more good things come through.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I guess would you tie that with mindset? I think you've shared a little bit on it, but change
Yeah,
is hard. Nobody likes change. It's
isn't
really
it?
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but the more used you, so I will say that the more used to you get to it,
Mhm.
it's easier. Like I'm kind of like, because good change and bad change is hard, right? I was having a conversation with this man and he was like, oh, can you talk about infant mortality rates with Black and brown women versus white women? I'm like, absolutely. He goes, let's talk about the global South. I'm like, no, 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 no. Why are we saying it's over there? Let's look up the road. We
Mm,
have problems up the road with this stuff, right? Don't be othering this as a problem happening to other people.
mm,
Here we have problems. And he was like, well, do you have data for that? I'm like, yes. And he goes, okay, can you come and talk about it? I'm like, sure. I'm on stage twice a week. I don't care. He's like, great, I'll see you on the 3rd. I'm like, okay. And then I hung up and I rang my friend to talk to her about it.
yeah,
And you know what, Bernadette? I ended up with a headache right here because I realized, the spiky headaches? I
yeah.
realized the man ran TEDx.
Oh,
And I realized you see, that's what my face did. I
yeah.
was like, I think I just agreed to do a TED Talk. Shit. I really do not know what to do with myself. I mean, and that has taken me a couple of days to get through.
Mhm.
And so I had to ask myself, what is the big deal? You're on stage twice a week. You have been a public speaker for 20 years.
Mhm.
Just because somebody puts 4 letters on a stage, how does it change anything?
Mm. Yeah.
And so good change and bad change are still difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, Give us some tips on public speaking. I think everybody's terrified. I am. I can sit here behind the camera, but as soon as you toss me in front of people, I'm out. I check out.
Yeah, but it's because you worry about what they think of you, right?
Mm,
It's always that.
yeah. I think I also worry of saying the wrong or the right thing to the wrong people.
So
Just
failing,
just the information not being taken.
failing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You can say that. Yeah,
So that I'll refer you to our conversation 15 minutes ago.
yeah.
The thing is, good public speakers are only good because they're interesting,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
That's the only thing. So all you have to do, which means that I'm a terrible person in the audience because I'm like, oh my God, this is tedious. Can I go home now? And I'm like, grow up, woman, shut up and
Yeah.
sit there. And I don't want to sit there because I want you to be interesting. Otherwise, I want to go home because
Mhm.
my bed is really nice. So, and I have bombed many, many, many times. Let's be clear. So there's a few things that I do in case they're helpful.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm like, I just have to be interesting about them. Now, do you care? Like now, when you ask me questions, if I said to you, 67% of people do this and 20, do you care about the data or do you care about the person?
Mm.
Which one do you care about when you're listening to me?
Oh, the person.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you go on stage, remember the only reason they're there is because they're hoping you will tell them something. Now, when you see someone speaking, you care about who they are, why they are, and what they are. Not if they want to tell you their whole goddamn life story, but you want to hear something, one interesting story. That's what you want to hear. Okay. So that's the thing to do. Find the one thing you want to talk about. And the way I do it is I find a through line through the whole speech. So by the time I start here, by the time I end there, I want you to know this and I want you to feel like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I work backwards. And
Mm.
so what was something someone has asked you to speak about, for example?
Ooh, I haven't done much public speaking, but
That's because you're afraid of it. But what was the last
yeah.
time somebody asked you to do? What would they ask you?
To speak about my art, also podcasts and just my story.
Love it. So if they're asking you to talk about your pick one. Let's do
Arts.
one. Tell me which one.
Arts.
Art.
Yeah.
So they're asking you to talk about your art, right? So when you talk about art, what you want to do is say to people, here's why art is relevant,
Mm.
and here's how art. Because art makes people feel, and so when I do my art, I'm trying. These are the feelings that come behind my art. Here's how I try and put that feeling into the art I create, and then when I put it in front of people, I hope people feel like this and this and this and this. So when you're looking at art, ask yourself these three questions.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your speech.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's really cool how you break it down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then by the end of it, you've left them engaged with you, right? When you can move people, that they see you human, they see what you're doing, and then they feel a bit cleverer than before they came. Like when they walk out of a room, people should feel cleverer or more inspired than when they came in, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Also I find at times people resonate with actual stories. They
Always.
enjoy when people open up about exactly what's going on, whether it's ugly or not ugly.
Painful. Like, and therefore, look what you just said. That was so clever. So then come up with a story of how you tried to create something and it looked like a dog, like it was terrible. And go, like I used to think this and I saw this and I put it there and I'm like, oh, was I drunk? Why did I make this?
Mm,
Right? Because I'm trying to do it and it's not coming. And it wasn't until I learned this that I could start to stream effectively between my energy and the canvas.
yeah, 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 that makes sense. Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
You're streaming between you and the audience. So you are creating art when you're up on that stage
Mm, yeah, yeah,
in the same way.
yeah, yeah. Because I think that's a number one fear for most people
Is
is
it? I don't
public
know. This is how I
speaking.
make a living. I'm on
Oh.
stage like the whole time.
It is. It is. It's a actual fear, and it's a pretty big one, really, really big. And I think even sometimes people have notes. As soon as they're on stage, their mind goes blank because so many eyes are on them and looking at them.
Poverty is very helpful for making you learn shit. I was like, I'm poor, you will pay me money, I will do this. Next.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah. I'm like, no, really.
Yeah.
Because if it's my children's shoes and your opinion, the children's shoes win every time. Let me just be here. Let me talk about this. Let me entertain you. Let you feel good. Let me tell you a little bit about me. And then I'm at the door.
Mm. Yeah.
So do that the next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share?
I think that I came to this realization about 2, 3 years ago, where the way that we live as women is not working for us.
Mm.
And it's not working for us and it's not working for the world because the world does not seem to be doing quite so well with us being pushed down and removed and downtrodden and
Mhm.
not having as much space as we should be, even though we give them a lot of lip service to having space. So I remember about 2, 3 years ago, I was like, I don't like how this is going. So I wrote a paper for myself, kind of threw up on ideas on a page. And I wrote it as reimagining the world for women.
Mm.
And I've been on a mission for the last 2, 3 years doing that because I'm like, what would happen if women showed up in every facet of every element of every part of society as 50% of everything that we did?
Yeah.
The world would be a different place. Everything we did would be different. The way in which we did it would be different. And I think a large element of that is not for us to blame men, but for us as women to feel like we have the power to take our own spaces and our own stands calmly and strongly and powerfully in our world.
Yeah.
And I that's something that really matters to me. So we are creating the Global Women Exchange,
Mhm.
um, where I'm like, I want to put 1 million women in here within by the end of about a year or 2 years, because every time you walk into a room and you're the only woman in that room, you should be able to lean back and there are 999 women with 999,999 women behind you.
Yeah.
And we're all rooting for you because we are. We're all rooting for each other as women. And the ones that aren't, we call them man women, they can go and sit in a corner over there. But actually, we root for each other, you know? And I'd like to see that being created over the next year or two.
Yeah, yeah. And I think women have been through so much and we've been shut down, silenced for so long. And there are a lot of powerhouse women like you and me that are doing it, that
Mhm.
refuse to cower or back down or silence
Yeah,
our voices. And we need more women to step up and just do it
yeah,
afraid.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the more collective we are, the more collaborative we are, the more we support each other, the more that movement gains momentum
yeah,
and it's more and more relevant. So yeah, that's kind of what I think and feel, and that's what we should all be doing. And let's hope we're all kind of able to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. Are you working on any other projects and where can people find you?
Well, this particular one, yes. Anywhere else, you can find me. Just put my name into anything. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok,
Mhm.
LinkedIn. Just Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and I'll pop up.
Awesome, awesome. Last question for you. What is the meaning of life for you?
Oh, it's just impact, transformation.
Mm.
You know, I cannot every day where I've managed to change a thing or help a person see something differently is a day where they're, I'm Sikh. I'm an Indian. I'm a Sikh Indian, which you have a lot of in Canada. And I'm brought up in the concept of seva, which is to be of service. It's how we were brought up. It's from very little. And I've always thought that. And being of service doesn't mean being a doormat, but
Mm.
it means to give and to receive. Like I'm very expensive, and I'm a big believer in Chanel handbags. So I'm not saying there is no place where I'm like, but to be able to give to the world, to the community, to women, to men, that I think it's really important.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Well, Geeta, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Continue to empower and help those who need it the most. Thank you.